Thierry Neuville and Martin Vidager's fastest time during shakedown was brief respite from a tricky start to the season for Hyundai. But by the end of the first test, Neuville was wishing he'd brought a different mode of transport altogether, whilst Neuville arrived at the stop control with steam billowing from the bonnet. Esa-Pekka Lappi and Eni Malkinen's temperature problems made it a full house for Hyundai, and after losing nearly 3 minutes on the opening stage, close enough to overhaul Taka by the end of the day, the battle for fifth.
Alright sharp, alright sharp middle, and slow bro, late 5 left, a bit late.
Despite his frustrations, Katsuta still fourth quickest on the opening stage thanks to the huge time gaps, with his Toyota teammate dominating.
It's a lovely chilly evening at the service park, which is located at WRTI, the Wildlife Training Institute here in Naivasha. Pole, lugha ya mama in tatiza kidogo. Yes, and it has been a dramatic day. This is the most dramatic day yet of a Safari Rally, and it's only day 3. The day of reckoning is tomorrow, but we have to talk about today because there were some major disruptions in the leaderboard, and that brings us to the discussion of the day. But before we can even talk about the rest of the show, today we are going to have more of a discussion, a very competitive discussion based on the events of the day, especially within the constructors title plus also the Rally 2. Today there was one very interesting surprise. Toyota retired 3 cars after the morning loop, and that was quite significant, especially because there were only 2 cars left to tackle the afternoon loop. And we are going to have a gentleman by the name Simon to come and discuss that with me. Today we are going to have more time, but before then, the announcement came from the deputy team principal, Juha Kankkunen, and we are going to have a snippet of what he had to say, and you know, that's a moment that was very shocking to the rally enthusiasts. So take a look at this. Joining me on set is Simon Ngunia, who is a motorsports journalist, to try and, just get a glimpse of what is happening, because it has been very dramatic. And for this section, we want to discuss Toyota, Simon.
What the day they had. Clearly, nobody saw this coming. Toyotas have been the most reliable cars in this safari since 2021. But I think the wet safari, they had never properly experienced a wet safari from day one to the last day. I think the minute we had the news that they had retired, and they retired on the road section, majority of these cars, apart from Elfyn Evans, who really had to be retired because the car really broke the suspension, he had the rest were on transit coming back to the service park. And that is when the information got out that their cars could not start. They had alternator issues. So this is because the cars, apparently they overheated, an issue that Hyundai had been dealing with. So I think the Hyundai's got a little bit lucky there. We've been dealing with this issue since shakedown. So since we know how to handle it. But for them, I think it became a little bit too many problems. And I think they decided, let's save the car. We are looking at the Constructors' Championship. We are also looking at, we have a driver who's leading. We eliminate Seb, we get rid of Oliver Solberg. Taka is in charge, and Taka is experienced in the safari. I think this is Taka's best rally, if you ask him, because this was the first rally that he ever got onto the podium. And last year he was on the verge of winning until he rolled in Hell's Gate. So I think the gods have aligned for this young man, Taka, for him to get the title. But it's all to play for. As you've seen, stages have been cancelled. Drivers have rolled, punctures have punctured. Some drivers have been eliminated due to punctures. So I think Toyota have had the worst ever Saturday in the safari since they started coming back.
Simon, if you look at Toyota's consistent performance since 2021, most Toyota fans would maybe like to know what the retirement means for Team Toyota.
So all it means is now clearly they cannot win. The drivers who've retired, they cannot win unless the rest retire. So up until now, so what you do is you come back within a rule that's known as Super Rally. So they're going to come back with the Super Rally rules. Then tomorrow is what we call Super Sunday. There's points for the Hell's Gate Power Stage, the last stage of the rally, where the winner gets 5 points, the number 2 gets 4, number 3 gets 3, number 2 gets 2, the last one gets 1. So if you calculate those points, if you're able to lock it out as Toyota, that's 15 points. So we can be able to compensate for the other points that these other guys get. And then we have Elfyn is on 60, Oliver Solberg is on 47, everybody else has scored points. So you're looking at it from a perspective of, it's a glass half full, glass half empty.
And before we take a soundbite from the Rally 1 drivers today, maybe looking at Takamoto's performance last year and looking at how he's driving this year, don't you think it's a bit too early to think that Taka might take it home?
I think it's more or less that we need to see lesson learned, one. And I think the way he's driven out there today, he was very cautious, especially in the afternoon loop. I've heard him once he got to the end of the stage asking, how's the other guy doing? And he had the guys 8 seconds later and he was really shocked. So he knew he was going slow. He was expecting the guys would have caught up. So I think this is more or less is going to be given orders. This is not about you today. This is about the team. Get us the maximum points. Let the rest of the boys just run and get those bonus points.
So next, we are going to discuss not only about Toyota, but compare Toyota's performance with Hyundai and M Sport Ford. But before then, here is a soundbite from the drivers. Simon, yesterday the Hyundai sporting director said that the strategy was to just keep it easy and make sure the cars come back home. But it seemed to be working until the afternoon loop.
Of course, this is Safari Rally. There's nothing you can do, I think, for you to be ready enough. You know, especially because the teams they don't test in Africa totally. So with these conditions, you just use the notes from last year. And then you need to remember they've never been in such a wet rally ever in this country since they came back. So the last time I think they were in this country and it was this wet was in 2002, and I don't think there was anybody here who was driving. I think Seb started driving in 2003, so that's that tells you everything you need to know. Maybe the team principal for Toyota, because he used to drive here, I saw him smiling when somebody asked him a question about the Safari. So I think the strategy was working. Just take it easy, take it easy. The opportunity is going to bring themselves, because yes, we are experiencing problems, but everybody else is getting problems. So what do we do now? Thierry goes out with 2 tires, you get 3 punctures. Now you have to retire, and unfortunate for him, just when he retires, they cancel the last stage. So I know in his head what is going on is, I should have just held on one stage, because I think if Thierry was in this, I think he could have pushed Katsuta a little bit better, because I think for Mo is just, okay, now I'm trying to score points. There's no need for me to try to chase Katsuta. Whatever is done is done. But maybe if tomorrow somebody just makes a mistake at Serengoni, maybe things change. But I think Andrew Whitley got the strategy right. But the only problem is that you can never be fully prepared for the Safari.
Talking about the theory and Formo plus also Lapi, one thing I've observed is that Lapi was also he was not lucky today. Coming back to maybe Hyundai's standing hope for more. Do you think that Formo, if he's able to do a clean drive tomorrow, we would be getting at least one Hyundai on the podium?
Yes. Tomorrow, 2 stages in the morning, then 2 stages, almost, let's say just half morning, half afternoon, because that's when they're going to be doing it. So I think all he needs to avoid is that ditch at Serengoni, because the minute he gets into that ditch, and we know what is happening to these Hyundais with water and mud, once it overheats, Sami Payari gets him and everybody else will get him. And I've seen position 4, 5 and 6 are being held by Rally 2 cars. So that could be interesting if some of these top drivers now ditch their cars, because now it's over for them. Mm-hmm. So I think Formo will be thinking more of, let me just podium, let me not chase whoever is in front, and let me just keep Sami Payari at bay. And I'm not saying it's an easy task. Listen, it's easier said than done.
And maybe if the Bona director can allow us to discuss this before we head to the local drivers. Rally 2 cars are showing times that are very close to Rally 1 cars. Don't you think Rally 2 might be the next point of interest when it comes to Safari Rally Kenya?
I'm thinking that should have been the answer a long time ago. Because how many times have all these Rally 1 cars come here and develop problems? Like we started the conversation with saying Toyotas have always had a clean run. All the other cars can always attest. Even Seb, the great Sebastian Ogier, has had problems in this Safari and even the previous Safaris. So I think these Rally 2 cars are proving one thing. One, they are compact cars. They are small, compact cars. They are not as big as the rest. They are not as heavy as the rest. So they are a bit more maneuverability. And then you remember, they have 245 horsepower. So that changes everything, because I'm not carrying the same amount of speed as the Rally 1 car is carrying. So the Safari is not a sprint. Somebody said it's not even a marathon also. It's a journey. You wake up in the morning and you plan to go to South Africa. That is what Safari is. You have to go get a visa. You have to go get your documents right. That is what the Safari is. So you need to take the journey. And I think the Rally 2 cars are better prepared for the journey because of their size, malleability, and that lack of a lot of power. And also, key, they do not have the hybrid system, because this hybrid system is what is causing majority of these vehicles to overheat, because once the alternator is hit and the battery cannot recharge, what happens to the car? It stalls. Once it stalls, all you can do is just push it and hope to get to service.
So Simon, I would like us to get a soundbite from our local drivers, and after this, we are going to have another very interesting discussion about the tires, because today the tires have shown the drivers shege. So here's a soundbite from our local drivers. Simon, let's discuss Karan Patel. He has not been very lucky previously. What do you think? Will he reclaim his ARC title?
The Safari has always had its worst with Karan. I remember in 2021, he was one of 3 Kenyans who managed to finish top 10 overall in the Safari. It was Onkar Rai, Karan Patel, and Carl Tundo. And since then, I don't think he's managed to finish a Safari. And last year, he had his fair share of problems. I think it's because he changed to the new car. You know, new car, new setup, you need your mechanics to also get a bit and well-versed with the car. So they went, they first of all faltered at Safari. He went to Uganda, things went haywire. Then I think he only managed to finish 1 rally last year. He did well, if you ask me, because it's not easy. Let me tell you, rallying and motorsport is not easy because one mistake ends everything nice that you've done. And again, you need to remember that we are also Kenyans. We are on a budget. We are not like these Rally 1 cars who they have everything they need here. I can change a gearbox, I can change a steering rack, I can change basically everything, including an engine. But for them, of course, you have to use those budget constraints here and there. But I think he's a good driver. You need to remember that he is one of the only few Kenyans who has rallied outside the country. It's him, I think, Makray Kimathi and Hamza Anwar. He was in the M Sport Ford Fiesta program that he did some time back. I think it was in 2011, 2012, 2013. So he's one of the few very experienced drivers in the continent. He's young but very experienced because he's done it. So I think ARC it's not hard for him. He's done it twice. He's won it twice, so he's looking for a third one. And today you could see how he's driven. He had the opportunity to race these other WRC2 cars, but he decided, okay, let me just keep to my guts. I've seen what is happening to the top tier drivers. I am not in that circus anymore. I am leading my category, the ARC. Well and good. Let me just take home at the end of the season the crown, because I think four legs, it's doable. And your main competitor is in NASA also, it doesn't help that he's out. Then Saman Vora is struggling. And last season, Saman Vora lost by a point in the ARC. So you are thinking, if I take maximum points here, well and good, I'm at least well set up. I just need to win one more rally, then the rest take points off each other. I'm good to go.
And from the soundbite, let's deviate from Karan for a moment and talk about Hamza. So Hamza said he went into the stages with a hard compound.
Wow, that was a mistake. That everybody else chooses soft, you think of doing hard. You see, in motorsport, it's gambling. It's almost like gambling. You need to take a chance for yourself.
Yes.
And sometimes these chances don't take. You might decide, this corner looks like I can go flat out, then it catches you out. The same thing that happens with tires. The minute you take the wrong tire and it rains, so now you have, first of all, you do not have no traction. So you're basically skidding the entire way. So it's what most drivers like. They say motorsport is the only sport where you drive sideways, but at times too much sideways can lead to a lot of damage to you and the car. And also I don't think it's comfortable to do that for a long period of time.
So now that we are at Matters Tires, today has been a bad day for the drivers, especially with the punctures. So I had to have a chat with Hankook to try and get to know what is happening and also what the expectation is. Early on in the day, they demonstrated on WRC TV how the tires are behaving on those stages. Especially, he tried to explain that sometimes when it's not muddy, the stones just protrude kidogo, but the moment there is mud, it can look like a small stone, but it's huge underneath, and you see there is no basically anything to absorb shock because the ground is very soft. So let's hear this soundbite from Stephen from Hankook. Simon, the matters on tires. Today we have seen punctures. Hancock still, most teams are also going soft. So what do you think, especially with tomorrow's stages, what should we look forward to more punctures? Should the teams be ready for punctures again? Because I remember we were having that conversation over coffee that one of the worst fault codes you can have is low tire pressure.
Definitely. I think every mechanic's worst nightmare is looking at your car going through a stage and then there's an alert at the top of the screen and says low tire pressure, and you know now that tire is done, because there's no way that driver is going to stop unless it's at the end of the stage. If that thing comes maybe a kilometer to the end, maybe you have the hope because you are sure the driver gets to the end, then changes the tire. But now you are also looking at a situation where you only have two spare tires in the car. Like for example, what happened to Thierry today? You get 3 punctures and you had 2 spare tires. So you've already done 2 tires and 1 more. So for me, there's not much that can be done, because the supplier said that's all we can do. Because guys, listen, when there's mud, you can't see the stones. So once that rock catches the tire properly and it's a big rock, the tire is done. Because once it's hit, and these cars are not traveling at small speeds. These guys are 500 horsepower and they are doing 120, 140 kilometers in some stages. Then all of a sudden you get into the mud, you start skidding left, right. And the temptation for most drivers is, in case of doubt, flat out. So when you do flat out and then you catch yourself on a tire, then that alert pops up and I'm sure the entire garage just sinks. So for me, stay on softs. Just hope you stay out of trouble. At times, try to get to the end. Tomorrow you have 2 stages in the morning, 2 stages mid-morning and afternoon. All you need to do is make sure you don't get a puncture in the first stage. Yeah. Then you'll be safe.
So before I let you go, Simon, I would like us to try and look at tomorrow's stages and look at how the drivers have been on track. And do you think we'll see a lot of pushing tomorrow, especially with the Hyundai team that has been laying low? Thierry Neuville,
the master of the
power stage
points.
Yeah.
So I think the way the Safari is built, it's more or less Thierry drives up until Saturday. Then he'll join on Sunday on Super Rally and takes the maximum power stage points. That it's become almost a song here. Now we can write a full documentary on it. So I think pushing will not be in the morning. Everybody is, because it seems like it's gonna be wet, so everybody will be like, okay, we need to get. They are not coming back to service park.
Yeah.
So there is no mid-morning service park. So all you have is a crew, a very small crew out there. So you don't want to damage the car before you get to the final stages. Then that last loop is gonna be fireworks, because I think everybody will be thinking, I need to get my setup correct before I get to Hell's Gate. Or Serengoni, all they need to be aware of is wild animals, first of all, because it's high presence of wild animals. Maybe even the cameras might be on the lookout to catch a leopard somewhere. And then we'll have that Hell's Gate stretch. And that Hell's Gate stretch, I think everybody's going to be pushing, because you see everybody's trying to lock each other out of these maximum points. I think the only driver whose instruction will not be to push is Tucker.
Yes.
He told Tucker, if you have the advantage, Tucker, just get the car to the end of the finish line and you win this rally. And this will be his first ever rally win. He's not won a rally. And it would be so poetic that your first podium is in
Safari rally.
And then your first rally win is Safari. It would be so poetic for him.
And to wrap this up, Simon, I can just imagine how the Hell's Gate stretch will be exciting tomorrow, because we are looking at Seb, who will probably be flying tomorrow. We're also looking at the master of the power stage, Neuville, and also let's not lock Solberg out of this, because that kid is on steroids, man.
That he is the perfect definition of flat out, anywhere, everywhere, anytime. Sweden, Monte Carlo, Safari, flat out. So I think this is going to be the most. We have never actually had such a close Safari coming to the end of service at Saturday. And I think by that matter of fact that we have had that close a Safari, it seems the wet weather was an equalizer almost. So heading into tomorrow's power stage, everybody. It will be every man for himself and God for us all. And it will be chaotic. I think the people who benefit the most are the fans. I think for the first time the president will enjoy everybody pushing, because like I said, the only driver who might get the instruction don't push Takamoto Katsuta, who I think is a fan favorite among the Kenyans. So they'll understand why he doesn't push, because last year he tried to push and rolled in that stage and he was leading the rally. So it's just the lightning does not strike twice. He's hoping that does not happen. But everybody else, I think it's going to be a run for everybody. Seb, 9-time world champion. Thierry, 2024 world champion. Seb, 2-time Safari Rally winner.
Yes.
Oliver Solberg has won the Safari in WRC twice. So this one is going to be a shootout. And we keep on forgetting Elfin. He's the one who's lost the most coming in this.
Yes, actually Elfin is another force to reckon with, fast forwarding to tomorrow.
Yes, because he's also out. And he was one of the drivers who was out because of a suspension issue. So I think Elfin will be looking at it tomorrow and saying, yes, gentlemen, 5 points for me, not bad, because it does well for the championship. Last year he lost the championship due to a power stage actually. Thierry won that power stage in Saudi Arabia and denied him that title. So I think he'll be looking at it. This is repeating itself and I don't like it. And I think he's trying to become a world champion. And it's not easy, but if you manage to score points in Kenya, you have 60 points, you have managed to bag around 7 points, and you hope that Oliver Solberg bags less than 5. Your game, you have one rally in it, even if you don't finish one of the rallies, you are still in it. So I think he'll be thinking of that power stage. So tomorrow will be a shootout of almost everybody. The Toyotas, first of all, are coming out blazing, and Thierry is coming out blazing. I'm thinking also for Mo be told, let's lock them out from trying to get the maximum points.
Yes.
And also Lapi, if he'll be sitting in 5th or 4th, he'll be told by the team, now, for you, flat out.
Push it, yeah. Thank you so much. Okay.
I think this has been his best ever performance at the Safari.
And he has had a very technical approach. Thank you so much, Simon. And we look forward to tomorrow. Asante sana, Simon. So the rally has not been all about drivers. It has still been a pleasure and a great experience for the fans as well. Today there was fun and pomp at the KCB Fanzone in Kedong. Take a look at what the fans had to experience today.
Hi, I'm Mitch Njiru, or Michelle Njiru, Director Customer Excellence for the KCB Bank Kenya Limited, and also former navigator in Kenya Motorsport, having done almost 3 WRCs and finished all of them. Safari Rally Kenya is the most intriguing rallies, the most watched rallies in the entire WRC series. And what makes it magical? It's the people. The people who come out, support, and make it magical. Crazy, crazy, crazy fans, let me put it that way. Then number 2, most amazing weather. Right now it's hot, it might rain in the next 10 minutes. You never know what's gonna happen. Then when you're driving in, even as a navigator, you'll find wildlife. A zebra might just decide to be the zebra crossing inside a rally section. So absolutely unpredictable and good fun. Mother and daughter have been friends of mine way back, actually outside even of rallying. The whole family have been friends of mine. It's a very interesting dynamic. Driver is the daughter, has to listen to the mother. Usually the mother is the one who yells all the instructions. But here there has to be a balance. There has to be a chemistry on, okay, what you're telling me is right. I don't have to second guess. So when I get the note, I need to react based on the note that you have given me. So I think it's such a fantastic, I would say, chemistry and even bonding for them. I think KCB has been playing its part right over the years in terms of first getting the WRC back into Kenya from when it was a project to what we are enjoying today. They played a big part of that because they built the Kenya National Rally Championship that birthed a lot of the rally drivers that we have today who are now in the WRC scene. But we are just a drop. Without a sponsor, you literally cannot rally. We have amazing talent, but they don't have sponsors. They don't have someone coming through to support them. And KCB is but one of the sponsors trying to bring meaning to the sport. So I'd call more sponsors, please. Let's come in, let's make this thing as vibrant as it can be.
I'm really happy, especially from Northern Kenya. I'm representing a lot of people from the marginalized and pastoralist communities in Northern Kenya. That is the Samburu, Turkana, Aburana. That is now the entire Northern Kenya. And I'm really happy. It's really beautiful scenes, and being here, it's like I'm showing people back there at home that we can do anything, we can go anywhere.
Weather ilikuwa nasemekana kunanyesha Naivasha, lakini sasa vile ilikuwa nakuja kuteremuka ile mbio. Najua sasa nilikuwa najua iko matope. Lakini sasa kumbe hakuna matope, ni vumbi. Ndio nikaroli. Uoni hata nini?
Safari ni yetu bana. Revisha na KCB bana. In the ground, mambo ni hot, mambo ni live.
Safari rally ni yetu.
With all this fun, pomp and adventure, I know what is going through the minds of many Kenyans is, are we going to have a safari rally in the coming years? Today we got some time to have a much needed conversation with the senior events director at WRC, Mr. Simon Larkin, and this is what he had to say. And be keen about his words, because we don't know what to expect from the president tomorrow. The skies here at Naivasha are starting to open up, and the rains are coming. But before we even wrap up, this is one of those instances where you say, come rain, come sunshine, we must leave you with the whole story. So today we managed to get you a feature of the only mother and daughter team in this tournament, in this motorsport tournament, and that is Tinashe and her mom. So do enjoy this as we anticipate for the action tomorrow. Remember, the Hell's Gate stage will be fire. Good night from the service park, and I hope to see you tomorrow after the events of the day to try and wrap up and have the official results, and we are going to know who will be the champion of the safari.
We're here in Naivasha. Reki was wet.
Very wet.
Very wet. And the river crossings became rivers. But we managed to do all the 3 days of Reki well.
Yeah.
And the Ford Fiesta was performing very well. Unfortunately, we had a mechanical issue with the engine, so we can't continue. But that's rally. Yeah.
She forgot to say we got to Camp Moran and came back. As we were coming back to go to Mzabibu, we got mechanical issues. So here we are. We live to fight another day.
Rallycars have a mind of their own. So everyone at some point in their journey has experienced such a problem, mechanical issues. But what I can say is this year has been wet. I think it's the first wet safari, like really wet since like 7 years ago. Seen other drivers got stuck in Camp Moran. So us guys, we were lucky we were turned back.
This year has been a good year because the last 3 years we've rallied under the national championship. This year we got to go into the Africa Rally Championship, which is both our first times. And a bit of what we've experienced with other countries is the Rwanda Rally, which we did last year, and she performed very well. What we're looking forward to is the rest of the season to do the ARC events in the same car and see how it takes us. Yeah, we first cry, boo-hoo, anyway. Just kidding. First of all, initially, of course, when the car stopped, we all looked at each other like, what's that? Then you open the bonnet and you're like, oh, this is happening. Doesn't look like we can continue. And that's the point at which we call the team manager, who gets very disappointed when he sees a phone call in between a race, but it is what it is. So we try and be as calm as possible. I've been there and done 100 more disappointments than her. But this is actually her first one, her first event not finishing. I've handled quite a few. So we encourage each other. I just tell her, it is what it is. As she said, Aka has a mind of their own. So her experience in the beginning, of course, the first year was a bit wishy handled, and she actually really managed to handle it very well. Initially, I was supposed to drive, she navigates. Then somewhere along the way, she said, can I do this one? I said, okay, fine. So we changed seats. And from then, she's been driving. And the progress I have seen from the last time to yesterday, or rather this rally, is amazing. So I was very sure, in the national event, the navigator seat is at the same level as the driver. So you're seeing the road, what she's doing. This one experience, it's literally, you're like one step lower than her. So you can't even see the road. So it's up to her to do everything. And so far, when she was going into Camp Moran, she was doing very well. So my work was to sit and feel, how the car is turning. So I call the next note and continue. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to competing in the different countries. Next is Pearl in Uganda. I'm excited about that one. I know rally in Uganda is absolutely insane, especially with the fans.
Yeah.
And then there's also Rwanda, and which we've been there before, and I can't wait to go there again. And the rest of the season, I can't wait.
In Tanzania.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I started as a navigator. Yeah?
Then we switched, yeah. Wrong place note.
Either or.
I think none. Left, right into hairpin, left, long 3, right. You see?
Taran. The Toro.
Yeah?
The Toro.
Yeah, because we're not getting stuck.
The Toro.
Toro. We don't argue though. We don't argue.
What she said. We'll finish the stage, okay? It will
just be slower with hand direction. Yeah, she's actually and shouting. Drive me faster.
I can handle it.